All right, guys. Hey, good evening. So Thursday training for Atlas for the team. What we're going to cover tonight really quick is recap from senior leader, and then we're going to cover some compensation questions. And if you guys have any other like questions, like do not hesitate. We'll get all of that answered. So I'm running this from just some pictures I took of the slides because I could not get the actual like slide deck to download. So if you see some of my handwriting, it's from the actual meeting. All right. So this was the agenda for the senior leader conference. And like I said, it's leaders building leaders. The big focus for Glenn and for Peter, so CEO and the president of the company, we want to accelerate growth. We got 5 years left in the decade of dominance. So it started in 2020, still going. But Primerica, the year after year after year, continues to have its best year ever. Okay. And so that's huge for us. I mean, just look at this in terms of the number of people that have earned $250,000 over the last 11 years. In 2013, there were only 300 people in Primerica making over $250,000. Now in 2024, there's over 900 guys, 929. And 117 people at senior leader conference this time were first timers. So for people making $250,000 a year for the first time that year. That's insane. Guys, if you make $250,000 in doing like literally doing anything in any industry, you are in the top 3% of all income earners in the country. Okay. And so if we have almost 1,000 people making $250,000 a year, that's wild. Think about any other company that you can name. Do you think 1,000 people make over $250,000 a year? I mean, I can't think of any. And you don't really start to even realize and think about these numbers until you get kind of to this level. But look, you guys, in 2024, we set some like massive record numbers. And what I want to kind of like highlight really quick is where it says opportunity is because there's a huge opportunity right here, and that is in securities licenses, right? We are down on the numbers of securities licenses this year from where we want to be. And that's a huge place where we even as a team, as a brokerage, as a base shop, have a huge place for growth as well. Because I'm the only one. And so really like a big theme is like who's next? Because I need help on the investment side. Like I can't do all of them, right? Oh, by the way, you can only become a regional vice president if you have an investment license. And so for those of you that are like, not sure if that's really what I want, trust me, it is, right? It is. We paid over $1.2 billion in cash to the field last year. But that's saying it with a B, guys. A billion is 1,000 millions. And we paid out 1,200 millions to the field last year in compensation, like direct cash to the field. That's not Primerica's profits. That's money we paid to you. Okay. This was a cool term. Somebody said CEO, and it's cash, equity, and ownership. And it was actually Glenn, right? So cash paid out, equity. When you become a regional vice president and above in Primerica, you actually earn equity every quarter based on production. And so you get a stock bonus every quarter and it's based on your production. But guys, you get that forever and it grows forever and it's yours. Okay. And then ownership, we're one of the only companies that do financial services that provide you as the business owner a way to actually own your code. And so if you can see behind me that red plaque, it says ownership, right? That means we own our business. And so we own our code. And so what we can actually do, like if I wanted to, I could sell my code. And Primerica values your business at around 10x when you reach ownership at the 300,000 K mark, right? So in reality, our business is worth about $3 million, like overnight. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. This I wanted to highlight. So like the record compensation, record number of cash paid out to the life force. So on the life insurance side, a record number of cash paid out to the investment force, almost 600 million, insane. And then mortgages and client solutions rounded us out with an extra like 20 some odd million. Here's what I want to highlight really quick. in this year, in 2024, over half of all of the income paid by Primerica was paid to investment license representatives. Investment license representatives, guys, only make up about 20% of the entire Primerica force. So if half the money is getting paid to 20% of the people, do you want to go get your slice of that 20%? Because the answer is yes. Yes, you do. Right. And so go get your licenses as fast as possible. As soon as you're done with your life license, we will email the securities licensing team and get them to unlock the licensing curriculum for you on the security side. It's all online. It's done through Kaplan. Oh, excuse me. It's done through Kaplan. And we've actually, they just announced they've like sort of revamped it. And so like the training programs, like the self-paced programs are actually even better than when I went through them like 2 years ago. So Haley's just getting ready to start hers. Angela's probably going to restart hers soon. And then Paul is working on his. And so if you guys like need some sort of recency in that, let me know and we'll get that going. All right. So here's one. Decade of dominance, right? So when we started in 2015, we were paying out about 660 million in field compensation. Guys, we've more than doubled our field compensation in the last 11 years, 9 years. That's crazy. We've doubled what we've been paying people. Didn't so think about it. Here's another way to think about that. At any of your guys' current jobs, if you've been there for 10 years, are you making double right now what you made 10 years ago? Probably not, right? If I had to guess, most people probably not. And so I'm going to cover just a real quick a couple more things, and then we're going to get into some of the more like mental, sort of like mind challenging, like mentality side of things. 200K takeover, right? Primerica is at 150, I think 154 or 156,000 licensed representatives running around wild, right? We want to get to 200. Bigger than that, and the most space for like actual growth, and I don't know why they made this one so small. We want to get to 50,000 securities licenses. Guys, we're barely halfway to that mark. And so that's actually the biggest space for opportunity growth in the company right now is on the investment side. Let me see what this guy was really quick. Here's so sort of like why, right? So like can't really tell somebody something without giving them a why. Well, here's what happens. Guys, in the next 3 to 4 years, when we get to 200,000 licenses, we will see most likely another 2,600 RVP promotions, 1,800 more $100,000 earners. That's almost 2,000 more people, families earning 100K a year. Crazy. Look at that, right? Since convention, we've grown by 5,500 licensees. That's crazy. So if you just keep kind of like extrapolating that math, where's the biggest place? Look at the biggest place is more RVPs. So if the biggest place for growth is RVPs and the biggest income opportunity for you in this business is at regional vice president, that's where you want to be. Like your goal, if you actually want to make this and turn this into a business, guys, is regional vice president. And so that's truly the goal. Okay. I'm gonna jump around on these pictures a little bit. I wish they would have saved the right way. I thought I was taking them the right way. I'll learn. It'll be better for you guys. Okay. For life licensed agents, if you're already licensed and appointed, when you pull up your app, you should see a little spot in the middle called Life Training Hub. This is new, right? And it gives you as a brand new licensed agent sort of like a checklist of like a self walkthrough, self-paced sort of tutorial. And it gives you like little quizzes. It kind of challenges you and checks you on certain things. So for any of you that are licensed recently, like go check this out and tell me what this looks like because I would love to see it. I don't get to see it. When I pull it up, I'm a regional vice president. I don't get to see it. They just assume I know everything, which I do. I know a lot, but I would still like to be able to see what you guys see. So if somebody could pull that up and kind of walk me through that, that'd be super cool. Okay. This one, I love this one. Power of a decision with a deadline. Okay. And so a lot of you guys lately, some of the leaders, I've been challenging you on your goals for the month. And then we're going to start breaking that bigger. right? My goal over the next few weeks, month is to really stretch your guys' thinking in terms of what are you thinking about, not just for the month, but for the year, right? And then for next year and for 3 years from now, because we're going back to convention in 2027. There's 900 days until then. So think about this, guys. Doesn't it just feel like we just had New Year's? Do you realize already that we're in the second week of the year? There's only 50 weeks left in 2025. Holy smokes, that's crazy, right? So a decision with a deadline, decide on it and commit to it. Guys, if I promise you, if you commit to doing something for 90 days, wherever you are at the end of that 90 days will be better than where you were when you started. I promise you. It's impossible to not get better. Okay. But then at some point, like once you get that vision for it and you put it out there, you got to just go do it. Because any of the things that we say we're going to do without some sort of like action to back them up is worthless, right? You can have the best plan in the world, but if you don't execute it, it doesn't do you any good, right? So real quick on mortgages, because I think this is a huge place for us to expand as well, because I'll be honest, we have exactly 0 mortgage license reps on the team. Huge place for income opportunity, guys, right? Mortgage rates are going to continue to come down over the next year. What do people generally do when their mortgage rates drop? They refinance. So think about this. Like if you were able to sit in front of somebody and they had pretty serious amount of debt and you could get them a refinance on their loan, but also pull some equity out of their house because there's also more equity sitting in houses right now than there's ever been in any time in our history. So if you could access some of the equity, get rid of all of their debt and lower their actual debt with a much smaller interest rate, not only would you get paid, but they'd be in a much better position. Much better position. Okay. So mortgage volume is up 91%. We added almost 1,000 new mortgage license. Guys, we have 3,100. I think it's actually more because somebody passed while we were at senior leader. There's more mortgage license reps in Primerica than in any other company out there. Pick one. We have more. And we just barely started doing mortgages again, like for real, like 3 years ago. And we already have more mortgage license reps than any other single company. And we don't even really talk about it, right? So life license gets you your investment licenses basically for free. The mortgage license, you do have to pay a little bit out of pocket up front, but if you do your first 2 loans within the first 120 days, you get an extra 300 back. It's basically like the licensing expense. That's crazy. Yeah. Angela said we only have 2 in our hierarchy. So Angela Jennings got her mortgage license and Steve Fox got his mortgage license. So there's one in Andy's base with Steve Fox, and then there's one in Wendy's base, Angela. We don't have one, right? So it's just something to think about. All right. So that's the pictures. That's the stuff I really wanted to share from senior leader from like just some of the slide perspective. There's a whole freaking but they didn't, but I can't find it on digits. I think they hide it because it was like a senior leader meeting, right? So I'll go steal it from somewhere. But for now, you got like the Cliff Notes version. Yeah, we will look at that Life Hub here in a second, Haley. Guys, like I want to transition to talk about mindset really quick for a few minutes, and then I want to talk about the compensation because that's like the tactile sort of like thing you can touch. You have to decide what you want from the business and write it down. You have to write it down. I didn't write mine yet because I wanted to go to senior leader first because I was worried that if I wrote it before I went to senior leader, I would have made it too small. And I was 100% right. Guys, if you write something down and the thing that you wrote down doesn't scare you and it doesn't freak you out, it's too small. It's too small. Because here's the other thing. If you are like really thinking about committing to being a leader, building leaders, well, if your vision doesn't fit the leaders underneath you, how is that a vision? It's just a goal, right? It has to be so big that it scares you and that everybody's vision fits inside it. Guys, I'm getting the goosebumps thinking about this stuff. This is like life-changing types of decisions that you can make that don't just apply to this business, right? Guys, Primerica is a self-improvement course that comes with a paycheck. I promise you. If you stick around me long enough, you cannot help but get better at something, period. And those of you that have been around me for a minute will agree. You can't help but get better. Guys, if you call me with some bad news, Angela loves it when I do this to her. She's gonna call me with some bad news. I'm gonna say, amazing. I love it. Perfect. They quit. I'm so glad that they quit so fast because I didn't waste time training them. And she's like, why are you happy that somebody quit? Because I didn't waste time training them. They quit now. I didn't pour 40 days or 4 months into them just to have them quit. Perfect. Love it. Because it's going to test you a little bit at first, especially guys, people that you are so excited about. And you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. They're amazing. They are until they quit. It's okay, right? You have to be very honest with people. And when I meet somebody for the first time, it's one of the things I ask them, like, what do you want? What do you want out of this? Because I'll coach you very differently. If you come in and you say, no, I want to be you, I want the plaque on the wall, I want this, I want, okay, get ready because be careful what you wish for, because I'm going to coach you that way. But if you say, hey, man, I just want to get my license, I want to get a little bit of a bonus, I need to get some education in money and finance, I'm going to feel it out. Cool. I'm going to coach you very differently. You'll probably get like the automated texts with the Zoom links, and I'll check on you probably once or twice a week. Maybe. How you doing? How's your license? Very different levels of coaching, okay? But that's why it's important to know what people want and why it's a relationship. At the end of the day, guys, it's a relationship. If I text you and you don't text me back, can we build a relationship? Not, we can't even like start like talking about thinking about building a relationship. It doesn't work, right? So if I reach out to you and you don't text me back, but 10 other people text me back, what are the odds of me helping you versus those 10 other people? I'm helping the people that talk to me. It's a communication game. Okay. So communication is huge. But like, let's get back to vision. Let's get back to vision and thinking about what we want. I'll tell you what I want and where we are going. Okay. By the time we go back to convention in 2027, 910 days from now, we will go back. I will be a national sales director, which will mean I have 6 regional vice presidents direct to me that we've built. 6 minimum, right? And if we've built 6 regional vice presidents, we will be making at a minimum $1 million a year. Here's why I want to do it by convention. Andy did it in 6 years. By the time we go back to convention in 2027, I will have done it in 5. We will have done it in 5. So I love Andy, but I'm going to beat him. I beat him to regional vice president. I beat him to ownership. Now I'm going to beat him to $1 million. Guys, when I started the business, all I ever wanted to be was sounding like Ian Pruckner with some Andy humor. And now I've done that, but now I'm better than both of them because I'm better at securities than both of them. Guys, in a couple of days, we will have over $2 million in assets under management. We've been barely playing this game for 2 years. Guys, like, the power of this business is insane when you leverage it appropriately. And for anyone that like thinks that like the talk about the money is like taboo or anything like that, let me help you change your thinking, right? A lot of people will say money is bad, money is the root of all evil. I beg to differ, right? Because if you're by extension, you would also say that guns kill people. They don't. They don't. Money's not bad, right? Greed is bad. But I promise you, you give my wife an extra $10,000 a month, she's going to spend 8 of it on friggin' like wild dogs that need saving and cats that need like sweaters. and churches that need donations and kids that need Christmas presents. I promise you, money changes things in a good way, right? If you give somebody a bunch of money and they like turn into like a not great person, I hate to break it to you, they probably weren't that great to begin with. Money is not the problem, okay? And so I promise you, it changes things, but start small, right? Start small. Think about your family right now. What would an extra $1,000 a month do? Start small. But then you need to let me allow you to like stretch your brain because then I'm going to ask you, what's an extra 10 grand a month going to do? What's it going to look like when you're making 20 grand a month? What's it going to look like when you're making 50? Guys, Willie and Lorena Naranjo just made $8 million this year. Most ever. In a rolling 12-month period, $8 million. How much money is that a month? I'm gonna do Angela's favorite thing. We'll get the calculator out. Look at this. We're gonna break this down, right? There's so many zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I had to count because I really wish Apple would give me a comma on a freaking calculator, right? So a month, that's a lot of money. 600 grand a month, right? Let's do it this way. Let's just do it by day, right? 22 grand a day. $22,000 a day, guys. A day. They've been in the business. They've been doing it for 17, 18 years. A day. Now they're the best ever. They make the most ever. Okay. But along the way, they also have somebody who makes 4 million a year. They have multiple people like about to clip 2 million a year, multiple people making 1 million a year. So the beauty of this business is wild, right? I saw a cool like thing on like an entrepreneur page the other day, and it said, I helped a man to the top of the mountain, and I found myself at the top too. Interesting. Right. Guys, Art Williams, our founder, one of the books that he wrote was called Pushing People Up. Pushing people up. That's the business. Here come the bumps. That's the business. I swear to you, you cannot be around me and not love this business. You can't. You can't. It's wild. It is so wild. Haley, how much money have you made in the last week since you've been licensed? You can unmute yourself, please. Do you even know? Because you,
Over 2,000
thank you. It's 2,400 and change, and you've got more coming. How long would it have taken you to make that money at your old job?
a month and a half.
Okay, so you've made effectively in 1 week what it would have taken you 6 weeks in your old job. Okay. Who's done the majority of the work?
You.
Amen. Guys, you're in business for yourself, not by yourself. Don't ever forget that. Have I kicked you out of the nest yet?
You're trying to.
It's coming. You're close. I'm about to cut
Working
the
on it.
cord. You are very, very close. And it's not because I don't love Haley. It's because I love her so much that I have to push her when she thinks she's not ready. She's ready. Okay. Guys, I promise you, you're gonna get in front of somebody, and the first time you do a client presentation on your own, you're probably like your like mouth is gonna get dry, you're gonna feel nauseous. Guess what? You're gonna do it and you're gonna be fine and you're not gonna die, and everyone's gonna be just fine.
I did that just trying to do it in front of you.
That's why I told you I'm not coming to the one with your sister. I promise you. It's a lay down. Go close the freaking thing and just get that out of your system. Okay. So it's coming. You're not doing it in front of me. You're just gonna go. All right.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna let you go. But guys, think about that. 6 weeks it would have taken her in her old job, what she's made in the last week since she's been licensed, and she's done it from home with her baby in her lap, in her pajamas if she felt like it. I don't care. Half the time, if you see me, like I look real clean from here up, but I probably got some like pajama pants on because I'm in my house wearing slippers. Yo, come on. Like, guys, when I met Andy and he said, Noah, I'm gonna freaking pay you so much money, you're never gonna want to do anything else. I was like, bro, come on, what? He's like, no, really. He's like, if you do exactly what I tell you to do and you master the process and you duplicate the system, because you don't got to come up with anything new, guys. You just got to duplicate the system. He's like, you'll make at least 100 grand from home online on Zoom. And I was like, well, okay. And guess what? We did because I duplicated the system. And if you ask anybody that has ever heard me speak on stage, they go up to Andy immediately after and they're like, bro, he sounds just like you. He goes, yeah, of course. Why do you think he's having success? Guys, we come from a lineage of people that have broken the company's record for making 1 million a year fast. Ian Pruckner trained Andy. Ian, back in, I don't know, 2013, 14, made 1 million a year and was the fastest to do it. Fast forward to last year, Andy broke his record. 6 years. I'm gonna break Andy's. And along the way, if I'm making 1 million a year, guess what that's going to produce? Two or three people at least making 300 a year, another two or three, four probably making 100, 200 a year, another 10 to 20 making 50 a year. Guys, that's life changing. That's life changing. And if you tell this to certain people, they'll be like, oh God, it's a pyramid scheme. It's the guy off the top makes all the money off the guy at the bottom. And I say, yeah, exactly. You mean like your job? And they get real bristly. And I say, well, hold on. Could you ever make more than your boss? At your current job, be honest in the chat right now. Could you ever make more money than your boss? I'll wait. Willie and Lorraine and Toronto made $8 million last year. That's more than Glenn Williams, our CEO, Peter Schneider, the president of the company. The COO's name just blanked on me. But more than him, more than the general counsel, more than the CIO, and more than the CFO and chief technology officer combined. Combined. I don't know any other company where somebody below all them cats in the C-suite is making more money. Welcome to Primerica. Guys, that's the business. That's the business because you can build it so big that once it hits sort of like perpetual momentum, you can't stop it. Have you guys ever seen a rocket ship take off? Like, does it take off really slow? It takes a while, right? Because like you're burning thousands of tons of jet fuel, like thousands. But once that thing breaks gravity, like 65, 70 seconds later, and it's in orbit, does it burn any gas? No. Once it's in orbit, it just goes. Space is a vacuum. It just goes. The only time it ever burns fuel is if it needs like course correction. Once it's in orbit, it goes. Guys, once you build a business like this to a point where it hits perpetual momentum, you're done. You're done. You will hit a certain point where whether you work or not, the overrides keep coming. The trails from all of the investment accounts keep coming. They just keep going. Guys, some of the old timers have been doing this for a minute. I mean, you're talking like 6 figures a month just in trails from securities. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds like a hell of a passive income. How many of you know people that have worked somewhere for 30, 40 years and then retire and they've got Social Security and like a little baby pension and they're on a fixed income? That's not living. It's not, right? You come talk to me in 30 or 40 years, good luck finding me, right? Because guys, 30 or 40 years from now, we will have hundreds of millions of dollars in investment accounts and equity in the company. You'll find me if I want to be found. Guys, you need to think so big that it scares you, and you need to start thinking generationally. Guys, like once you build that kind of a thing, you can't spend it. One of the guys in the company, his name is Jerry Byers. Him and his wife Rhonda have been in the company for like 42 years out of the 47, 48. He told me the other day, he said, Noah, we have so much wealth and we've accumulated and built so much wealth over the last 40 years. Not just what Primerica's paid us, but what we've invested and saved and built, that our great grandkids couldn't spend it if they wanted to. Because by the time they're even going to be old enough to spend it, it will have doubled and compounded four, five, six more times. This is the rule of 72. It doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop, right? So here's some quick numbers that I want you guys to write down. Okay. 100 by 100 by 20. So what the hell am I talking about? So 100 recruits a month, 100,000 in premium a month, and 20 licenses a month. Okay. Now, I know that might sound weird, so let's write it and let's draw it a little bit, right? So 100 recruits a month. Angela, how many recruits are we at right now in the base shop?
I'd probably have to go look after today.
Okay. I think it's 22, 21.
I think it's closer to 24.
Okay. So if we're looking for 100 recruits in a month and we've got 21 days left and we're at 24, we're behind pace, right? So 100 recruits a month, we need to be clipping at least 3 recruits a day, minimum, sometimes 4. Today we had a hell of a day. It was like almost 10, maybe 11, right? But that's not going to be every day. So consistently, right? How do you eat an elephant, guys? One bite at a time, right? So one bite at a time. So at 100 by 120 licenses, you cannot stop the momentum that will come. Guys, if we're writing 100K in premium a month, that's life premium, right? That means that somewhere along the way, people are getting paid 5 to 10 grand a month. Not me, in the base shop, right? You guys. 20 licenses a month means we need to be recruiting 100 people, because on average, about 20% of people that get recruited will get their license that month. That's the recruiting ratio, okay? That doesn't change. That hasn't changed in 45 years. For every 5 people you bring into the business, one of them is going to get their license quickly. The other 4 may or may not even stick around, and if they do get licensed, it will be on a delayed timeline. Okay, that's just the business. It just is. But 100 by 120 licenses. Naturally, RVPs are going to pop out of that, right? Naturally, people are going to start earning watches. Guys, when you make 50,000 in a rolling 12-month period, you get your watch. When you make 100 grand, they give you a ring. It's like a Super Bowl ring. It's ridiculous. Look at this. Power builder, right? 100K. It says Financial Independence Council on one side, and it's got your name on the other. It's ridiculous. It literally is like a Super Bowl ring. It's crazy, but it's kind of cool. And then every time you make another 100 grand, you put a new diamond. It's fun. It's wild. 100 by 100 by 20, right? So that's the goal. Now, that's the goal for the base shop, right? But that's our monthly goal, but we've never hit it. We've hit 120 and some odd recruits in the past in 1 month, and 77 and change in premium, 77,000. That's a great month, right? So like my realistic goal for this month, what I want to see us do this month is 50 by 50. 50 by 50. I'll write 25 of it personally if I have to. But there's enough licensed agents that are out there to where if everybody just wrote like one app, that'd be like another 20K in premium on its own. Guys, 50 by 50 is not hard. We're going to be at 50 recruits in a week. maybe two. The recruits will come. That's going to happen naturally, right? The premium has to come from us setting appointments and us going out and showing people what your new agents are doing. And that's also what it's leading right into how bonuses and compensation works. Okay. So what I'm going to do really quick now, I'm going to bring up the commission contract chart and walk through that for some of the new agents. And then we're going to talk about the bonuses as well. Okay. So here is the promotion contract chart. Everybody should have this. It's in the orientation packet, right? And so there's the one for licensed agents, and then there's the one for brand new people. If you're brand new in the business, you've been here and you're inside of your 30 days, put me in the chat, please, just so I can kind of see who's around. Because if you still have a bonus window, this is really who I'm talking to. Okay. If you're brand new in the business, guys, you're at a 25% commission contract, but we're not worried about your commission right now because your only focus is to get your license and jack up your bonus as high as possible. Okay. If you're brand new, your bonus is based on the number of recruits that you bring into the business and the premium that you write during training. When I say you, I mean whoever your field trainer is, because if you don't have a license, you can't write a life app. But if you can get a bonus and a promotion, right, from sitting down, setting some appointments so we can show some people what you're doing, and if they decide to move forward, great, because it's going to help your bonus and you're going to get a promotion out of it. Okay, so your bonus is $200 for every one recruit and every 1,000 in annual premium that we write. Write that AP, right? So annual premium, whatever the monthly is times 12. I'll draw this out in a picture here in a second. The biggest thing to realize, guys, is that I want everyone at a minimum to get to a 50% contract. Because if you get to a 50% contract, that means every time that you help at least one client on average, you're making about $500. Okay. And if you're going to get paid to do the same work, regardless, right? Because everybody starts at 25%. And if you sit down with a client at 25% and you help them, you're going to say the same words, you're going to write the same app, it's going to take you about the same hour. So if you could do all the same thing, but you could be doing it up here, would you rather make 800 or 250 to help the same client? I'll wait. It's a no-brainer. It's a rhetorical question, guys. Of course you want more. So if you want more, let your field trainer, me, Angela, whomever, Haley, let us help you get in the field and show some people what you're doing. Besides, if we never show anybody what you're doing, will anyone ever know what the heck you have to offer? No, you're just going to like put your hand up someday and say, hey, I have a life insurance license. Does anybody want to come talk to me? Probably not. But conversely, if you put your hand up right now and said, hey guys, I'm working on some licensing, I need to get some training in, I could really use a favor. Could you guys just help me out? It'll take like 30 minutes on Zoom, maybe a little longer, but it's on Zoom. It's really simple. If you ask that question, who do you think is going to help you? Probably everyone you ask. Because in the beginning, we're only really looking to get in front of people that are naturally sort of inclined to help you anyway. Parents, spouse, siblings, best friends, people at work, people at church, people at sports, whatever. That's it. It's so simple. So simple, right? And your own stuff counts, right? Like if you don't even have life insurance of any kind outside of work and you've been thinking about it, when would it ever be better to do it than when you're getting a bonus and a promotion for it? If you were going to do it anyway. I mean, goodness, it's so simple. It's so simple because most people, guys, like if you thought about it, like if somebody would have offered you like a bonus to get your car insurance and you were already working on that license, you wouldn't even think twice. You'd be like, heck yeah, let's do it. That stuff's expensive. Life insurance is way cheaper than car insurance, but most people, for some reason, think they can't afford it. It's wild. It's absolutely wild to me. But this is the bonus, right? So we call it one by one, right? Every one recruit and every 1,000 in premium annually is another $200 bonus. It's unlimited. Haley's was $1,550. Unlimited bonus. Mine was $3,000 when I started because I went out and I set a goal to be at the top, and I did that $3,000 bonus, and then boom, almost immediately after I was at 80% contract. Crazy. So from day one, I wanted to be as high as I could go because I knew that if I was going to do the same work, well, hell, I wanted to make as much as possible. Okay. So let me go back to a calculator. I'm going to use my handy dandy calculator. It's my favorite thing. Angela knows, right? I'm just going to walk you through so you can see how this works in terms of like what the heck is AP. Okay. So an average life insurance policy, guys, is about $84 a month, plus or minus. Too many variables, right? Female, male, age, nicotine, whatever. $84 a month times 12, because we're talking annual premium. There you go. So whatever the AP is, right? Somebody make up a number. I don't care. $64 times 12. There's your AP. Okay. That's what your commission is going to be based off of. So whatever that AP number is times your commission, if I want you at a 50% contract, well, God bless. If you go write that $64 a month policy for somebody and you're at a 50% contract, you just made $384. Somebody help me in the gym chat. More is better. How long would it take you to make $384 at your current job right now? I'll wait. Three days, a week. Okay. So 3 days or a week, right? If you could do it in about an hour, that would make sense. One client. One. And that's a small policy, right? So if you think about it, the more of those that you can do, the better, right? Recruiting is your lead generation. Every time someone comes into the business, if we're going to help them train, we go to their natural market with them. And so if someone needs to get training and they're calling their mom, their brother, their uncle, their best friend, their siblings, their spouses, same of those. Guys, that's somewhere between 8 and 10 appointments. And did you have to set it? If you're the field trainer, did you have to set the appointment, or does the new agent set the appointment? Stay with me. They set the appointment because they're calling their people. They only need a little bit of training to be able to set that appointment. It's very simple. And if they're the one setting the appointment because they're the one getting training, you're the licensed agent. Who's writing the premium? Whoever's licensed. Yes. So if they're earning a bonus and now you're licensed earning a commission, who's getting paid? The person writing the commission. Guys, this is the process, and it repeats over and over and over and over. So we'll go back to my calculator, and I'm going to show you why recruiting is the cause of and answer to all of your problems. Okay. Today, we've recruited 12 people. Nothing personal. 40% of them are going to quit. So within 2 weeks, we will have 7.2 people. I ain't into chopping anybody up, so we're going to go with 7. Okay. On average, most new agents will do somewhere between 1, 2, maybe 3 sales. The average premium number is about $2,000. Okay. So in the next 2 weeks, at a minimum, just off of the people that came in today, we should create and generate somewhere around 14,000 premium. Okay. I don't know who's going to be licensed. I don't know who's going to be writing it. Let's pretend Haley writes all of it. Haley's at a 70% contract. If Haley goes out and writes all of that premium in the next week and a half, she just made $9,800. All on her own fancy little pen. Everyone's advance is 75%. It's like the first 9 months of the policy. Haley, you go write 14 grand in premium in the next 2 weeks. in your checking account will be an extra $7,300. How long would that have taken you at your old job? 7 months?
4 months.
Few months, easy, right? Now you're doing it helping people, you're doing it training them, you're doing it building their bonus. Here's another way to think about this, guys. Have you ever had to train anyone at your current job or at a previous job? Did you ever have to train anybody? Most people do. Most people work somewhere where you train somebody. So, Jessica, Miss Gill, when you were training that person, did you ever get paid more for how well you trained them? No. Now, let me ask you this. If your old boss would have said, Jessica, if you train them really well, I am going to incentivize you in the future with some residual extra income, would you have trained them better? Or would you have at least paid more attention to how their progress went? Of course. Guys, my job is to make you the best possible agent ever because you work in my brokerage. Why wouldn't I train you? But I can't train someone that doesn't set appointments and doesn't show up. Okay, so you have to get training if you want to be better. I promise you, I will train the bejesus out of you if you show up and you set appointments. Also, first come, first serve. If you want me, you get on my calendar. If my calendar is full when somebody else shows up and you already took all the slots, well, there you go. Haley knows she's had me locked down for like 8 days. Perfect. Why do you think she's going to be great? Because she stole my calendar. She didn't let anybody else in. Because I told her, if you want me, you book me. If you got somebody else and I'm not available, you get somebody else. Would you rather be trained by the master copy? I would. I was trained directly by Andy, right? So the farther you get away, it's like that old like copy game, right? That's why I train in groups because I can't train all of you individually one-on-one, right? But set an appointment and I will train you, I promise. Great, what's up, dude? What you got? Oh, lowered his hand. Maybe it was a faux pas, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a fat finger.
Good, you're good. So guys, really quick, there are more than life insurance can pay you right now. So depending on your state, depending on a couple of different things, guys, you can be getting paid right now off of home and auto insurance, Vivint, Legal Shield, and identity theft. And this is all in your orientation packets as well, just in case, right? But I'll bring it up. So Vivint, and all of these are referral products. You do not need a license, minus a couple of weird things in certain states. South Carolina is one of them, so I'm sorry. But Vivint doesn't require any license. If you make a referral and somebody installs cameras and sets up like a monthly thing because they wanted home security and smart doorbells and whatever, guys, you make $250 just for the referral, plus whatever incentive is going on for the month. I have not looked this month. Vivint is usually an iPad extra incentive or an extra $250 gift card. It's crazy. Okay. Legal Shield and identity theft, the commissions on those are much smaller because they're much cheaper monthly products. Legal Shield is really cool though, right? You can do a will, trust, power of attorney, they fight tickets for you, uncontested name changes, uncontested divorces. It's $28 a month. One will, if you don't have a will right now, will cost you somewhere between $300 and $500 for you. If you have a spouse, double it. Legal Shield, you could do all of it for $28. And you can refer yourself and get paid for all of these things too, depending on the state. South Carolina, you need a special legal license. Miss Mead, Jessica, just submitted her paperwork for that the other day. So anybody in South Carolina, if you need Legal Shield pretty soon, we're going to use Jessica because she's the only one that can even do it, right? So Jessica, get ready. You're going to do everyone's Legal Shield in South Carolina. Home and auto in a gray state, right? If you call or the client lives in one of these gray states, guys, and they switch their home and auto insurance because they get a better deal, you make $195. And all you did was connect somebody to a different piece of the brokerage that does home, auto, and small business insurance, and you got paid to help them save money. Because are they going to switch if it's more expensive? Likely not. So really, all you're doing is saying, hey, if I could save you some money on something you're already spending money on, would you be open to at least take a look at it? And they're probably going to say, yeah. Say, great. When was the last time you quoted out your home and auto insurance? And they'll say, I don't know, never, because people don't, right? And you say, hey, listen, call this number, and I want you to just use my discount code. Your discount code is your rep ID. All right. So if you're in North Carolina, Alabama, gray states, right? If someone calls, changes, uses your discount code, you get paid. New York, Virginia, Florida, some weird stuff. Those are called hot states. You get like you have to have a property casualty license in those states to get paid off of it. Doesn't matter, right? Just use it. Use one of your. Use yours. It doesn't. Who cares? In the blue states, you need a license, like life insurance license. You have to be licensed of some kind. So in blue states, I always tell people, just look, just use a downline representative from you. It'll try to pay them. It'll skip them, and it'll roll up to you, right? South Carolina is weird. It's basically a red state. So don't even get me started. It's changing. Like if you don't like it, call your congressman. Insurance is controlled at the state level. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing the president can do. It's all a state issue. Okay. But guys, you can get paid right now. You could literally get paid right now, depending on the state that you're in. So it's also a way for you to like everybody should call Answer Financial regardless and just see what the process is like. Because if you're going to talk to clients about potentially doing it, it would make a hell of a lot of sense if you've already done it. Because if they ask a single question and you're like, I don't know, well, I ain't never done it. Why in the hell should they do it? It's like being on the plane, guys. Put your oxygen mask on first. Just like the life insurance side of things and the investment side of things. If we haven't looked at something for you guys yet first, if we haven't talked to you and your spouse, if you have one first yet, set the appointment. Let's do that. So you can at least see what it looks like from the client perspective. That way, if someone asks you a question, you're like, oh yeah, dude, I already looked at all this stuff. It was amazing. Saved me a bunch of money. Or I already looked at this stuff. I had no idea it was so cheap. I didn't even have anything and I got myself covered. Oxygen mask. Plain. Never forget that, right? Because if you're trying to establish credibility with someone, especially, right? Think about this. I drive a Ford truck, right? F-150. If I drove to the Ford dealer to buy a new truck and the guy about to sell me what I think is my next Ford pulls up in a Chevy, I'm probably scratching my head. Like, why? Like, you don't even believe in your product. Why would I buy this product from you? Food for thought, right? Now, you do not have to have a Primerica policy or Primerica. You don't have to have any of our stuff to be an agent. Don't take me wrong. Don't get that the wrong way. Not required. So do not take that the wrong way. All I'm saying is at a minimum, what is required is for you to at least sit down and look at it so that you understand the process. That is mandatory. Has to. Because how in the world could you possibly be genuine with somebody if you've never even looked at it? Have to, right? And more importantly, if we sit down and show you something and you show me that you have something currently, and I look at it and I say, hey, that's amazing. That's better. That would be rare, but I mean, right? And I would say, look, what you've got is great. Keep it. And I don't even try to like sell you anything. You're gonna be like, well, dude, I thought we were in the business of doing this. Like, what? Yeah, you don't need it. What do you want me to do? Let me sell you something you don't need? I'm not gonna do that. I'd rather you save that money and let's invest it somewhere else. Let's put it in your Roth. Let's put it in your money market. Let's pay down the debt that you've been crying about. Let's pay that off first. We do a lot. We're way more than life insurance. All right. So we're about out of time. I hope this was helpful, right? The biggest thing I want you guys to take away from tonight, personally, right? This needs to happen tonight. You guys need to like internally decide what we're doing. Okay. So I want everyone to write this down. Okay. SMART goals, right? These are the only kind of goals you're allowed to write. It's specific, it's measurable. Okay. It's attainable or achievable, whichever one you want to use, right? Realistic, time bound. This is the most important one, right? Because if it's not time bound, you're never going to do it, right? A decision without a deadline is never going to happen. It's not going to happen, right? And so let's be very let's give you an example really quick. So a goal would be I want to get better, right? Can I measure that? Does that mean a good God blessed thing? No, that is not a goal, right? A smart goal is I want to lose 10 pounds by like 1 February. Okay, well, that's really damn specific because if I only lose 9, I didn't hit my goal. It's measurable because I have a scale. It's attainable. That's pretty realistic, right? If I just said 100 pounds, no, not happening, right? It's realistic because it's something I can actually do and it's time bound. Okay. So all of your goals have to be smart. A goal is not a vision. Okay. Goals. Goals are things that we are going to like set and achieve. And I want you guys to think about a like achievable goal and a stretch goal. Right? Your achievable goal is something that you should be able to do no matter what. Right? Like you're basically just setting it up to knock it down. Does that make sense? Right? Because if you mistake your vision for your goal, guys, it's so far. You're never going to get a win. Psychologically, that's going to tweak you and it's not going to be good. Right? So you got to give yourself quick wins. And so maybe your first goal is I want to finish chapter 1 of my curriculum. Perfect. By when? You can do it tonight. If you're spending more than an hour in any chapter, you're taking too long. You're doing too much. Quit. Just get through the damn thing. I promise you. Get exposed to all the material, get through it, move on. You're going to study for the test by taking the practice tests. I've said all I've said about that, right? But cool, set it, knock it down. Give yourself a win. Get that dopamine hit. Psychologically, it's going to help you. Then do the next one, right? Your first goal is finish your pre-licensing. Your next goal is licensed by. You cannot control that because there are certain things that the state is going to just jack you around on. So if you don't hit that one by your time bound, give yourself some grace. If you did all that you can do, if you controlled what you can control, don't worry about the state. All right. I want to set 5 appointments by Saturday so that I have 5 appointments next week with clients. Do it. Do it. Right? Because a plan without action is just pretty. It looks great on paper. But if you don't take action to get anything moving behind it, it ain't going nowhere. Right? Guys, this business is about being a thermostat. A thermostat is active, right? If you've been feeling like a thermometer in your business and it's been passive, you've just been watching the temperature go up and down, you got to change it. You got to get back in the driver's seat. Guys, the same people that make $8 million a year work in the exact same business as you. They just been doing it longer and they got a really good formula. Same business. There's no secrets here. There are zero secrets. I will teach you to be exactly like me if you can do it. But here's the cookie. Even if I can only teach you to be 10% as good as me, you'll make 25 grand this year. Let that sink in. Even if I can make you 5% as good as me, you'll make about 12 grand, 15 grand this year. Guys, I'm not special. I just work really hard. And I don't stop doing something until I know that it's perfect. But I also am not paralyzed by the fact that if it's not exactly perfect, I'm not going to go do it. I'm going to go learn to do the thing that will make me perfect by doing it. Does that make sense? Some of you are going to get licensed and you're never going to do a damn thing because you're so worried about not knowing what you can't possibly know. And you will be stuck and paralyzed by the unknown that you can't control. When in reality, if you just got in front of the client, 95% of everything that you're going to do for one client is going to be the same for another one. So you're worrying about the 5% of things that you can't control. Just go do it. Just go do it. And I promise you, if you're with a client and you come up against some hairy problem that you can't handle, blame me. Like, Shayna, you're the first person that's ever asked me that. I have not had that question yet. And be like, stay with me. If you're brand new, is that probably the first person that's ever asked you that? Oh, yeah, probably, right? So, man, you're the first person. That's an amazing question. You're the first person that's ever asked me that. Let me see if I can get our regional vice president on the phone really quick, and I'll get him on the call. If he's not available, we'll link back up with him and I'll have him answer that question for you. We're going to get back together with him on that investment appointment anyway. Am I right? So in the meantime, I'll try to figure it out, but worst case scenario, he'll answer it when we get back together. What we're going to do today is we're just going to apply and see how this life application comes back. You might even get instantly approved. Sound good? Perfect. Who do you want your beneficiary to be? Did I ever ask, are we doing this? Did I ever ask what you think? No. I said what we're doing. Because as soon as you ask somebody what they think, they're gonna be like, I don't know. Let me think about it. Give me a couple weeks. I'll get back to you. Are they coming back? No, they're not. Because as soon as you ask somebody what they want to think, what they think about it, they're going to think about it. Don't ever ask that question. Get that out of your brain. Never happens again. Okay. That's the process, guys. But you're never going to learn that unless you just get out and do it. I promise you, the first time you're licensed and you close a life app on your own, you're going to probably want to throw up. You're going to be nervous as hell, but you're not going to die. You won't. I promise. I've been shot at in multiple countries in a helicopter. I'm still here. Nobody shoots at me on Zoom. It's pretty amazing. And I wear my slippers in a climate controlled room and I get paid a hell of a lot more. This is a pretty good life. I'm not going to lie. Jeff knows, right? This is a pretty good life, right? I leave work, I close my computer and I walk down the hallway and I slap my son in the head and I think, how was football? This is a pretty good life. Guys, I promise you, it's an amazing business. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, and you're with the best team, personally, I think, ever. Right? You will never meet another group of strangers that you've never met in your life that want to see you win as bad as we do. I dare you. I dare you to find another stranger that you met less than 12 hours ago that if you called right now, they would answer at 9 o'clock and they would walk you through whatever the hell problem you got going on. I'm loyal to a fault. Promise. Now don't test me, right? Like don't be calling me at midnight because I don't sleep on my phone. It's not in the room. So don't test me. But trust me, you will see. And if you're anywhere close to Clearwater, Florida, right? If you're in South Carolina, it's like a 7-8 hour drive. 24th, 25th in January, in a few weeks, we have a builder school, right? So in person, you're talking 8, 9 different speakers that make over $1 million a year in this business. I've been doing it for a long time. There's probably going to be 2,500, maybe 3,000 people in the room. It's also Zoom friendly. If you can't make it, it's Zoom friendly, right? So let me know. Like, if you can get here, get here. If you can't, that's okay too. Watch it on Zoom. But I promise you, there's something very different about being in a room with that many people that make that kind of money that are willing to teach you exactly what they do. It's unreal. It truly is. It truly is. So, all right, guys, I love you. I'm gonna get out of here. We're a little bit over for those of you that stuck around. I appreciate you. All right, I try not to go over, but I had a lot to get out in the front. So Tuesdays at 8, Thursdays at 8, Sundays at 9, right? It's always going to happen. If it's not going to happen, I'll tell you, but it's always going to happen. The Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday night links are all different, but they never change. Okay. So you can put Thursday at 8 o'clock in your calendar right now as a recurring event with the Zoom link that's out there right now, and you'll always have it. Tuesday, same thing. Sunday, same thing. Am I still going to text it to you? Yeah. Because I have an app on my phone that I say, and it just goes, doop, 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 doop. So you're still going to get it, but you could already have it on your own. Okay. All right, guys. I'll talk to you soon. If I haven't met you yet, I look forward to meeting you. I have some of you on my calendar over the next few days, so I look forward to that. If you don't have my phone number yet, you should, because I text everybody and everybody has that. So, but 810-444-3401, 810-444-3401. If you don't have my number, there it is again, but everybody should have that. But I will see you guys soon. If you need anything, text me, right? Do me a favor, everybody, right now. Go in Telegram and write something in the chat. Anything. Because I need to see who can see it. If you don't know what Telegram is, I also need to know that. So engagement is huge, guys. Like, the chat gets really boring if it's just me and Angela and Haley and Jessica kind of talking back and forth to each other. So I appreciate you guys that are engaging right now, because it's helpful. The more people see that chat and it's alive. Do you guys feel better when more people are in the chat? It feels fun, right? Nothing bad ever happens in there. It's only ever good stuff. We welcome people, we talk about business, we talk about closes. That's it. That's it. Guys, that's the team. Like, if I hired you and brought you into a building, I would like walk everyone around, right? And like meet you and introduce you. That's this. That's this. So, like, don't be afraid. And if you have questions, ask. Ask in there, because if you're thinking it and you're wondering, so is somebody else. Let us answer it for everybody at once, right? And it's for everybody. So, guys, like, for real, I'm not kidding. By the time we go back to convention in 2027, which is in Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, we will cross that stage and we will receive our $1 million a year plaque. It's going to happen. Manifest it now. Start thinking about right now things that scare you in a good way. Like, things that seem so big. You're like, how in the world is that ever going to happen? Then let me help you plan for it. No one else out there. Like, guys, this business is wild. I promise you. There's no other business out there where you could come to, like, from literally from the bottom straight to the regional vice president and be like, no, I need help. I'm like, cool. What do you need? I got you. If I'm not actively in appointment or hanging out with my kids or doing that, I got you. And if you text me, I will respond. It might take me a little bit because I'm busy too. I got appointments, but I will respond. Promise you. Promise you. Do me a favor. Reach up to your first trainer first, right? Because they need training along the way too. And if you guys come straight to me every time, they don't get trained on how to lead. So use that, right? I don't want to use the term chain of command because that's not what it is, but use that. Let them train. Let them train with you. We're all learning. And then if you guys both can't figure it out, then come to me. Is that fair? Cool. All right, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. You're gonna get out of here. It's late. I will see you all tomorrow morning. If if you guys want, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m., there's a meeting called the Wolfpack. It's all of the like leaders, it's all of the regional vice presidents, it's people that are pretty committed to just being full time. And if you want to come check it out, I'll put the link tonight in the Telegram. You're welcome. Camera on, camera off, it's your call. Camera on is preferred because you're engaged, right? You will learn more coming to 5 days in a row of a Wolfpack, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern, than you will in like 4 or 5 weeks of self-study about the business. Guys, you can't study a business like this on your own because you don't know what you don't know. Show up, plug in, engage, ask questions. That's how you do it. Okay. All right, we're way over. I gotta go. All right. I'm excited too, guys. Like, if you can't tell, I just came back from an in-person meeting. I'm fired up. Like, fired the hell up. You guys, can you imagine this? Senior Leader Conference had 929 people making more than $250,000 a year in Primerica. About 300 of those jokers make probably 6, 7, 8, 900,000 a year. 150 of them make over $1 million a year. You cannot walk out of a room where your circle's combined net worth is probably close to $600 billion. I don't even know. And not be changed. Right? And if you're the smartest and the wealthiest person in your circle, it's time to get you a new circle. You got to be challenged, right? You got to be challenged because if you're at the pinnacle of the people in your circle, no one's pushing you. Well, guess what? You're in my circle, and I'm gonna push you. Get ready. Get ready. All right, get out of here. I'll see you in the morning. Bye. Yeah, jet lag ain't real. Screw jet lag.
You
Anyway.
literally just told me. I think I'm jet lagged.
Well, it's because I didn't have you guys yet. I needed that energy. I needed y'all. Like, fire me up. It's good. It's real good. All right, bye guys.